A bright Thursday right here in the city of Douala. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for choosing us, Equinoxe Radio Multimedia, to get yourself informed on health-related matters. Representation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Today we'll be looking at a very sensitive topic. Sensitive because a lot of people who suffer with this condition find it hard to express themselves. Today we'll be looking at something sensitive, but I give you 30 seconds to think about this topic. Today we'll be looking at Viginimus. Yes, I just hope you got it right. A lot of women who suffer with this condition, according to the World Health Organization, about 6 to 7% of women worldwide are suffering with this condition, but they have no idea of what they are going through. If that's the case for you, then just get yourself comfortable wherever you find yourself, because we'll be looking at this with a health expert, not just a health expert, but a sexual reproductive health expert. Before reintroducing my guest, let me reintroduce my co-host, Asedu Liengo. It's a pleasure to have you on the program today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Immaculate Fogwe.
Lucy, have you ever heard about the word vaginismus before? Before today or before the day I informed you, we'll be talking about it.
Yeah, it is true we have heard about the term, but we don't really know what it's all about, like from the term, but in a quarter level, you understand, in our homes, in our environments, we usually talk about some of these conditions, but the term is somehow strange.
Okay. Lucy, so my guest today is a sexual health specialist. She's known as MARIVON AGBOR. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Same here, Ima, and a co-host, Lucy.
Thank you.
Today we are looking at something very sensitive. As I earlier said, we're looking at vaginismus. What is it all about and how does it affect women?
Now, vaginismus as a term is as a result of an involuntary contraction of the vaginal muscles, which makes penetration to be impossible. We talk about penetration, we mean about what we are talking about intercourse, sexual intercourse, or maybe doing insertion of a tampon. Tampons are menstrual products that are being inserted into the vagina, or pelvic examination. So it affects its victims by making them, first of all, it inflicts them with a lack of self-confidentiality. That is to say, a lady or a woman who suffers from vaginismus lacks self-confidentiality. And so they live in the shadows of the reality of life. Like, you'll be like, why am I facing this? Am I extra? Wasn't I created rightly by God? You know, you start asking yourself rhetorical questions that doesn't need answers.
Talking about those rhetorical questions, how can a woman tell she's suffering with that condition?
Okay, now, for you to... Now, you cannot actually tell if you're suffering from the condition, because it's left for us medics to diagnose and tell.
Okay.
But one of the things you need to look out for is when you have difficulty with penetration. Maybe doing intercourse, you realize that your partner cannot actually have access into you. Like there's a kind of force pulling him outside. It's an involuntary force that pulls him outside without your acceptance.
Wow.
It's like you want it, but your system is sending it out. Another thing is, during examination, you realize that even a small speculum can't even penetrate, even as small as a pencil. It's somehow funny, but it's possible.
Wow.
Yes. And some women also can be prone to have a low back pain. Some have pelvic pains, excruciating pain in a way you can't even stand or even sit, and it's really that bad.
So after the penetration or before?
No, like not even penetration, like just normal pelvic pains and abdominal pains.
Okay.
Okay, now before we go to the next question, we'd like to give out the numbers for those who want to join us on today's edition: 0547049 or 656622222 656622222. And back to you, doctor. What are some of the causes of this health condition?
There are many causes, one of which we have oophorectomy. Now, we are talking about oophorectomy. We are talking about the surgical removal of the ovaries. The ovaries as itself produces hormones. The hormones, we're looking at estrogens and testosterone. You know, as a woman, we have reproductive hormones. So when the ovaries is being removed, it tampers with the production of these hormones that they function in the reproductive health. And so when these hormones are not being produced, there's a possibility of vaginismus. Another cause could be psychology. Maybe someone has been raped, or you witnessed a kind of embarrassing situation. So whenever you to have a penetration, that occurrence, it comes into you, it plays back into your mind. Another effect could be religion. Religion plays a role in this a lot, so much so that oftentimes when preachers or mothers, they are giving the children counsel towards penetration, they don't say, no, I'm teaching you this because I want you to abstain to marriage. Some will just be like, Sex back
It's
there.
bad.
Sex bad.
And it's
You
true.
know, I watched a movie, a
Yeah.
lady got married and couldn't have intercourse with her husband because the mother told her sex is bad. It was so funny. The man suffered and they had to go back to the village for the mother to tell her that. No, I was saying that because I didn't want the boys to use you around. I was saying that so that you could just present yourself for your husband. So religion plays a lot of role when it comes to the points of vaginismus.
And now we have spoke about some causes. Who is more likely to suffer from this disease?
Most of those who are likely to suffer from this are mostly women from 20 to 40 years old. Yes, because they are in the reproductive stage. Though there are women in the menopausal state who suffer from this, but majority are women from 20 to 40 years. And also we have nulliparous women. We're talking about nulliparous women, we mean women who have not put to birth. You don't yet have a child. You are also prone to this. Women who often smoke and they consume alcohol. You know, nicotine has a negative role to play in a woman's reproductive health because it brings down your reproductive hormones. Women with hormonal imbalance, they are also prone to have these issues. Women who have endometriosis. No, endometriosis is, excuse me to explain this piece for understanding.
Okay.
Endometriosis is a situation where the endometrial tissues, it grows outside of the endometrial wall. So when this happens, there's a possibility for you to suffer from this. Women with fibroid, there are so many causes. Women in their menopausal state and even menopausal state, they are exposed, they are vulnerable to suffer from vaginismus.
You earlier said a woman cannot just tell, like even if she has had all those symptoms you talk about, she has to go to the hospital. So how is this condition diagnosed?
Okay. For it to be diagnosed, first of all, you need a medical personnel or a sexual specialist, sexual health specialist. Now, for us to diagnose this, we need to do an examination, a pelvic floor examination, where we examine the vaginal muscle tone to check about the tenderness, the elasticity, how far it can welcome something in, how it releases out. You also need to do an ultrasound. We call it pelvic ultrasound. You need to do a CT scan. Now, a CT scan, we are checking.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte. De lundi à vendredi sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Bienvenue sur le plateau Equinoxe, votre décryptage quotidien de l'actualité de lundi à vendredi, 19h-21h, 18h-20h, en temps universel.
Lorsqu'on aspire au changement dans un pays, l'une des choses qu'il faut privilégier, c'est l'autorité de l'État et le respect des institutions républicaines.
Ouais.
Des revendications qui sont mises sur la table aujourd'hui avec la crise anglophone. Il y a plusieurs tendances, mais on a l'impression que le gouvernement s'est acharné sur la tendance séparatiste et a complètement oublié la tendance fédéraliste.
Est-ce qu'il est possible de faire le permis de conduire dans l'arrière-pays? Est-ce que l'État s'est rassuré qu'il y ait des auto-écoles? Vous voyez, il est toujours dans un esprit de guéguerre. On ne comprend pas comment on est en train d'amener les mototaximens, de discuter dans le cadre, n'est-ce pas, d'un dialogue sincère et franc. Il tient toujours des termes comme la rébellion. Il y a beaucoup de mauvais grains qui sont entrés dans le secteur et qui ont terni ces domaines-là. Mais aujourd'hui, il est important de dissocier les bons et les mauvais.
On a conçu il y a des coups de milliards, tous ces stades, mais aujourd'hui on dit tel n'est pas disponible. C'est quoi le problème selon vous?
Le chef de l'État a donné un certain nombre de missions à l'ONIES. Est-ce que l'ONIES a efficacement rempli ses missions? Force est de constater que non.
C'est toujours un grand plaisir de vous retrouver pour ce grand moment de la télé. Mesdames, messieurs, bonsoir. 20 ans qu'Étienne n'a pas revu sa maman. Et 2 ans aujourd'hui qu'il est cloué dans son lit par une maladie. Il a 29 ans, son quotidien s'apparente à un enfer.
Si elle a envie, qu'elle nous revienne le plus tôt possible. Vraiment, nous avons besoin de son soutien, plus que jamais.
Il lui demande souvent que qu'est-ce qui ne va pas. Tu as fait quoi à quelqu'un?
C'est la douleur. Elle passe le temps à pleurer.
Donc, lorsqu'il y a une tuméfaction, c'est-à-dire une masse, la masse peut comprimer et obstruer l'œsophage, ce qui entrave la nutrition.
On guérit du cancer, on guérit totalement de son cancer. S'il est pris en charge à temps.
Tout le monde a la capacité de se représenter mentalement et même physiquement en tant